This podcast is part of the Batman Universe Podcast Network, hosted by the BatmanUniverse.net. Check out everything related to Batman and the entire Bat family at the BatmanUniverse.net, including news and original content related to comics, movies, television, merchandise, video games, and more. Also, check out some of the other unique podcasts that TBU has to offer. Consider supporting this podcast by becoming a patron on Patreon. Even $1 can go a long way in supporting this content that you enjoy. Look for a link over at the BatmanUniverse.net to offer your support now. And now, on with the show.
Hello and welcome to the Batman Universe Comics Podcast, Season 14, Episode 2. I'm your host, Ian, and I have with me...
This is Steph.
And this is Theo.
And we're here to cover all the comics news for the Batman Universe for the weeks of this week and last week. We've got 2 reviews for you of Detective Comics as Shadow of the Bat continues, and one of them's a big one, Detective Comics 1050, which DC, of course, is treating as another special anniversary issue, making it bigger and more expensive. But before that, we actually have a ton of news, because solicitations dropped this last week, and we also had some business news. So, firstly, Daniel Cherry III, basically the guy who took Dan Didio's place at DC in the managing editor, a managing publisher, I believe is the title they created for him, has left.
General manager.
Yeah, general manager. But he was basically the guy in charge. I actually hadn't thought about him that much recently. So I was kind of like, I feel like, I don't know, things at DC definitely have been a little volatile, but it feels like they'd calmed down a bit, and so this felt like they were starting to be volatile again. I watched a couple of videos with people who have some behind-the-scenes interactions with Cherry, and they said things like he would actually, read the comics and talk to people in the halls about them, like writers, which sounded like a good boss to me. So, I don't know, I'm kind of bummed, because I don't like everything that's happening at DC, but I've liked it better than when Dan Didio was in charge, so...
Yeah, it's a little sad. I'd say the only book that's been a little disappointing is I Am Batman, and that's more, I think, because whatever direction they were going to go with Future State seems to kind of be a little derailed. But, yeah, everything's been pretty decent.
Well, I thought that it was a bad hire anyway, and again, this is me not knowing the backstories that Ian just mentioned, but just having someone from the outside who had no experience in comics and in that medium just come in, it seemed like it was more of AT&T bringing somebody in to continue the fat cutting that they've been doing since they realized that they should not have gotten into the whole Warner Brothers, Warner Media expedition, and that they've been losing money on. I didn't think it was that good of a hire anyway, and the fact that Ian is saying that it seemed like the Didio days were better.
No, I was saying that these days are better than the Didio days.
Oh, okay, I heard that wrong. Then forget what I said.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying this was like an amazing period, but I was having a good time. All right. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, because I feel like they are going to need someone in that position. Unless maybe they'll just bump Marie Ovens up, because she's isn't she editor-in-chief?
Yep.
So they could just bump her up one more level, I guess.
Or just throw those responsibilities on her.
Oh, that would suck.
Well, I'm
currently doing that at my work, and I'm just like, oh, I hate it when they do that.
Well, I mean it from this standpoint. When you look at what CB is doing in his role as editor-in-chief, it is pretty much what Marie is doing, plus part of what Cherry was responsible for.
But Marvel's much bigger than DC as a company, in terms of raw personnel.
We shall see, but...
Well, I mean, that's kind of the thing is, unlike Dan Didio, who we knew about for 15 years, like we knew who he was, we knew what he did because he didn't shut up about it. Daniel Cherry didn't do a ton of that kind of grandstanding and fighting with fans, so he still felt like kind of an unknown proper to me when he left. So I was just like, I wonder why he was sad and wanted to leave. Okay.
Well, I mean, and we don't know whether or not that was the case, considering, some of the rumors of where he's going.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he feels that wherever he's going is, more profitable, more creatively fulfilling. But I don't know. It's perplexing. I'm puzzled. But not quite as puzzled about some of these other news stories. So, solicitations revealed a lot of new things going on for the month of April. Firstly, something we sort of knew already, Batman Beyond is getting a miniseries. This is a 6-issue miniseries written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, the writing team, and it's going to continue their story that they did in Urban Legends this fall, which was the Batcomputer gains sentience, kills Bruce Wayne, and is now the big bad that Terry has to fight. I don't understand why we have Future State and Batman Beyond, because Future State basically took the slot of Batman Beyond because no one cared about that title anymore.
Well, it killed that theory, didn't it?
Apparently.
I'm fine with it being only 6 issues. That's fine. That's a non-committal thing. This is an experiment. Maybe this is them testing the waters to see if anyone does want that back.
I don't think that's working out for them. All right, the next thing, I'm kind of meh about Batman Beyond. I am not meh about this next announcement, which is Justice League number 75 is going to be the final issue of this run, and is going to be called Death of the Justice League. Josh Williamson's writing a one-shot in which they claim all but one of the Justice League members will die. They've got variant covers with coffins. They've got lots of interviews about how this is a serious thing. We're really killing the Justice League, and I am not here for it.
Well, I mean, if they really were, all the books would reflect that. But Justice League, at least in the Batman universe, hasn't touched Batman's storyline at all, in any way, in any form, at all. Looking at you, Metal. Other than what's his butt being gone. Your favorite. What's his name? Jim Gordon. Other than Jim Gordon kind of disappearing, Metal's had Justice League has had zero effect. And so if Batman dies, no, he's not. He's fine. He'll be back. Although this whole bull honky about it being on the multiverse edge is making me nervous. It's like, are we going to get a purple polka dotted Batman? Are we going to get a 25-year-old Batman? I don't know. Guess we'll find out.
Well, I think you kind of said it best when this story first dropped, and I totally believe it because I stole it and I've been saying it from day one. Batman and Catwoman being happy and getting married and moving on, terrible idea. But yeah, let's just kill every member of the Justice League. Great idea. And the fact that Joshua Williamson is doing another book. I mean, I know it's only that one issue, but what else are you going to give this guy? I mean, is it the case where you pitch this idea to everybody and they're like, yeah, I'm not touching that?
Honestly, it feels too much to me like they have too much stuff going on. They're trying to slim the line down, and they don't have enough contractors to do it.
It's just stupid. I don't get it. I mean, just once, try doing something that you know the fans will like. This ain't it.
Yeah, didn't they try that with Tom King, and no one was happy?
The decisions. Maybe this is the reason why Cherry decided to walk away. You know what, guys? Yeah, you know what? I'm done. Nope, I'm out. It just doesn't. It makes absolutely no sense that they're going to do this, especially if this event touches none of the main books that are out. If that's going to happen, what the hell is this all for?
Because if it did, then all of the solicitations would reflect that, I think.
If you want to do this, hell, y'all could have just went ahead and had 5G then.
Yeah. And the other thing is, this is clearly going to feed all those rumors about 5G. Let me see. what is the date that he's gonna do this issue? April 19th. That's halfway through the month. If they did this like an annual in the last week of the month, I could see it being like, we don't want to spoil that, but like halfway through the month, you're gonna have a bunch of books happening after that. This frustrates me.
DC can't get out of their own way, and
correct. It is an unforced error.
They have this. They just have this knack for constantly pissing their fans off, all while putting their foot in their mouths.
Well, I'm going to take over the podcast for a few seconds at the end of this news segment, and we will see how another company has the exact same talent. But
I mean, the big two does that for a living, and they've always done that. But
I don't think they always have.
Oh, they always have. But at least that other big company, because I don't want Dustin to come after me. But at least that other big company allows people to get married, and not
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, or when they do, at least they wipe it away.
And sometimes they sell it to the devil for no good reason.
Damn you!
Damn you, Quesada.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Shadows of the Bat wraps up, we're going back to once a month on Detective Comics, and it's kind of interesting because Mariko Tamaki's still on the book, but she's getting a co-writer, and probably for at least a 3-issue arc, given the other thing that's happening in the book. And this arc is going to be about the Riddler. There's a really cool cover by Ivan Reis, where Batman is surrounded by a crowd, and people around him have green clothes and backpacks that forms a question mark around him. And that's really cool. But the backup is going to be called Gotham Girl... shoot.
Interrupted?
Yes, Gotham Girl Interrupted. It's going to be by Sina Grace and art by everyone's favorite, David Lapham. There's a variant cover that I hate because Gotham Girl looks super annoying. I like Gotham Girl. I do not like this cover. This is
the one where she's sitting in the chair, or the one she's getting punched in the face?
The one where she's sitting in the chair.
Oh.
She just looks really obnoxious. I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm not a punk guy.
I don't like it either. Plus, she has a Windows computer in her lap. So
I'm using a Windows computer.
Oh, am I?
Sorry to hear that.
Yes. Okay, but...
we can go anywhere to get it fixed. Sorry, continue.
Oh, my goodness. So, I am somewhat happy to see Gotham Girl's story followed up on, although, honestly, her story kind of was done. Tom King kind of finished the story. He didn't need to tell more of it. And I know, if you create a character for DC, DC's going to use it, but it feels like there's other characters they could have done this kind of story with.
Well, see, I don't agree. I think our Song of Our People is, once a writer creates a character, 99% of the time that character never gets touched again until that writer comes back. So I think it's a little cool. I mean, unless they're a big one. And I don't think Gotham Girl was popular enough to do that. I don't really know anyone who really liked her that much.
She was not a breakout character.
So it's just kind of interesting. I wonder if it's just going back to they just were looking for people that were pre-disturbed and would make a good story.
Well, it's quite possible. I mean, given certain revelations that happen in today's comics, that could tie into why Gotham Girl specifically is coming back.
Yes. And I don't mind that. I have no idea who what's-her-butt Celie is. Sina Grace.
Sina Grace is a guy who got famous for writing an Iceman miniseries for Marvel, which was all about him being gay. And that's fine, but it just played into really shallow stereotypes of gay people. It did not feel like it was a thoughtful or careful look at that experience.
So yeah, I was a little horrified to see that the new story they're advertising isn't written by Tamaki, so I was not excited.
Well, she's still listed as on the book. She's just co-writing, which kind of makes me sad because she's doing such a good job.
Such a good job.
I am torn about a few things. I'm not torn about Gotham Girl being back. That's not someone I was looking forward to seeing make a return. But I am torn on the fact that on the idea of Tech going monthly again. Now, on one side, reviewing the book weekly is kind of like hell on earth. But, oh my God, Tamaki's been doing such a great job with Detective. It's just going to be so tough, waiting, once a month for an issue to come out. So I'm kind of in a yay nay mode when it comes to the monthly issue return. But God, I hate that cover with Gotham Girl. It does not look good at all. And of course you all will have to know that I am not overly excited about David Lapham making his return to Detective, even though it's the backup story.
It's so weird to me because David Lapham was real big in like 2006, and then he seems to have just disappeared to indie comics, and now he's back at DC in a big way, and they just keep using him. I'm like, what's going on, guys? Where'd Philip Briones go? I actually know the answer to that. He went back to France and is doing art stuff now, but I liked his stuff. All right, Shadow War, Josh Williamson's crossover with Deathstroke Inc., Robin, and Batman is continuing into month 2 of 3. This will be the middle. The Shadow War Zone anthology issue is not solicited, so that's probably going to be sort of like Joker Warzone, which was in the final month of Joker War. We don't really know much, except that it looks like Williamson is focusing each of the issues on the character of the title. So there'll be chapters in the ongoing story, but the title character will sort of be the maybe viewpoint character or main actor in the story, and I think that's clever. Any thoughts? I mean, there's not really news. We just knew Shadow War's coming, but any thoughts on that?
Robin's coming back to Batman. Robin's coming back to Batman.
I think actually Batman's going out to Robin.
Maybe both. That's why it's called a crossover and not a I'm visiting over.
This doesn't look like a Gotham story. This looks like an international story.
It won't matter if it's not permanent. If we don't ever get a Batman and Robin book, anytime Damian shows up in Gotham these days, I know it's only temporary because DC doesn't know how to get up its own way and give fans what they want, which is Batman.
Robin! Oh.
What fans really want is Damian in Bloodhaven with Nightwing.
Don't tell me what I want.
I will tell you what you want.
I'd be okay with that. I would be okay with that.
I would be okay with that.
See, this is what I'm saying. You guys think that I'm not thinking of you, but I am.
I would be okay with that, but I will also be okay with that other idea.
Yes.
From the Bat-Cat special.
Oh, yeah.
So this brings us to our conclusion of the news section, in which I am going to hijack the podcast.
And now for something completely different.
The cover for Amazing Spider-Man number 2 is out in April, and it shows Peter and Mary Jane breaking up again. And all I can say is a bunch of things that I won't actually say, but they are unprintable, and they are very angry because I am tired of Marvel doing this to me. I stopped buying Spider-Man for 10 years because of this nonsense, and they're doing it again. This is stupid.
Wait, I got to hijack too. So, and you knew it had to happen.
No, I don't.
No. You knew it had to happen when they totally nixed Nick Spencer's plan to retcon One More Day. We knew it was coming. Everybody knew it was coming from the way the story was going. And then all of a sudden, Marvel pulls this crap at the end, which of course has Nick leaving the book for whatever reason, but it was most definitely over the idea of him nixing One More Day from continuity, and now you get this stupid cover. It's bad enough John Romita Jr. is going to be drawing the book, but that cover is terrible. So I will get on this train with Ian and just express how much I hate that cover. And while I'm flipping out, let me also flip out on the idea that I'm losing my head coach. So, today is Tuesday as we're recording this, and Sean Payton has retired as coach of the Saints. So I am not in a real happy mood. It is so good that I'm reading Detective right now, because I will probably be breaking a couple of things right now with all of the stuff that has been happening today. So yeah, dang it to hell, Marvel, for that dumb cover. Sorry, Ian. You may continue with your hijacking.
That was all. I just wanted to say that I'm extremely angry and Marvel should be ashamed. All right. On to our reviews. We're going to start with Detective Comics 1049, written by Mariko Tamaki, art by Yvonne Reis. It's day 14 of the Arkham Tower project, and Anna Volshian is in a session with Dr. Chase Meridian. She's discussing a movie that's been in her head, which is, in fact, a vision of her past. She doesn't want to discuss any more of it, so Dr. Meridian ends the session until tomorrow. As Anna heads to her room, she is stopped by a maintenance worker with whom she's not familiar. He leads her away. It's Dr. Lisa Frow's, aka Kate Kane, the Batwoman, first day on the job at Arkham Tower, and she receives her ID badge. She asks the whereabouts of Dr. Ocean's office. Top floor, she's told. You don't have access. Dr. Meridian introduces herself to the newest staff member and invites Frau to coffee. They discuss the status of the patients and how the medical treatment has been working miracles on even the most dangerous of the tower's patients. Dr. Meridian still can't explain how things are working, but they are making sure the treatments are effective. As Dr. Frau leaves her to start her shift, Dr. Meridian warns herself to be careful who she opens up to. Dr. Frau and another doctor walk into an activity room where they find several patients in the middle of arts and crafts. This includes both Anna Volshian and Siphon. Dr. Frau is amazed that the patients, several with dangerous records, are allowed to handle scissors in the open. Batwoman walks up to Manuel, Siphon, who's cutting human figures out of construction paper, and thinks back to a time when she and Batman had to take him down after a heinous murder he committed. Siphon asks Dr. Frau for some glue. Before she is able to respond, Kate notices Anna Volshian being led away by Mark, the maintenance tech. She stops him, stating that she would escort Anna back to her room. Mark isn't pleased about this, but he doesn't put up a fight. Anna seems dazed, but she speaks with Kate about movies as they walk to her room. Dr. Ware has a visitor, a member of the Party Crashers. Someone is complaining about Mark, himself a party crasher, whose role is to retrieve product from the hospital to sell on the street, but seems to be doing more. The visitor offers to take care of the complainant, but Dr. Ware reveals that the person complaining is a member of the staff. He doesn't need the news of a dead employee on his hand when he is close to receiving approval of funding from Nakano. The crasher promises to talk to Mark. Little do they know that they're being watched. From above, Cassandra Cain, one of the Batgirls, watches as the party crasher gets in a car and leaves. The crasher isn't carrying any product, but Cass is going to follow her to see if she leads to the crasher's HQ. Batwoman, in full costume, walks into a patient room where she finds Huntress, who's waiting on her. Huntress apologizes for not checking in with the Bat family. Kate attempts to talk her into leaving with her or checking out herself, but Helena is clear she's not leaving. There's no surveillance, no plan. She's fine. Kate, however, needs to leave. A silent alarm has been tripped, and Batwoman soon finds herself surrounded by security. They're no match for her, and she's able to make her escape. Back at HQ, Barbara, Kate, and Dick discuss the events, wondering how the alarm got tripped. Kate doesn't believe Helena did anything, but also felt something was off. She promised to keep an eye on her while she remains undercover. This doesn't seem to satisfy Nightwing, who feels Kate gave up on their teammate. Despite Kate's report that all of the inmates seem calm, something doesn't seem right to Dick, and he's afraid for Helena being there alone, stuck in the middle of the party crashers, drugs, and some of Gotham's worst villains. At the tower, Helena's calm evening comes to a sudden, terrible end. She sees a vision. It's Anna Volshian in her room. Mark is paying her a visit again. Anna's reaction is different, however. She looks at Mark with a menacing look. Mark wonders if she is off her meds. She responds that she isn't on any. The story ends with Mark screaming. A distraught Huntress sees it all. All right, so what can we learn about the plot from this issue? I mean, this is the third chapter of our ongoing weekly 12-part epic. What do we learn?
Well, one thing I really loved about this is even though stuff does happen, this isn't progressing the story in leaps and bounds, but you are getting so much history and backstory. Like, it literally... Is this the one that does it? Or maybe it's the next one. Never mind. It's the next issue. The next issue is really good. But
I mean, I'd say all of them are really good, but the next issue is a banger.
It is. You kind of get a better idea of Dr. Ware's intentions. Yes, he's totally a con man. He just wants money. He's doing something nefarious. We still don't quite know what it is. And
I think that's the major plot revelation, that this is all
probably
to get funding from Nakano.
Yes. But everyone's like motivations and actions are really chewed on and explored. Like there's nothing that happens that are like, and then this happens for no reason. It's like, no. Look, here's the backstory. Here's the history. Like when Batwoman is looking at that dude in the psych ward doing crafts, like it just has a full flashback to how she knows him and that he's just sitting there doing crafts that are giving her a flashback. And I don't know, it was very well crafted story.
Oh, and thank you for reading the summary, Ian. So we are definitely getting more and more of the plot. So, you know, in just these 3 chapters, we now see that, you know, Ware's intention is nefarious, and it's not, you know, of goodwill. It's all about the money. And I'm okay with that because the pace that this story is going is absolutely amazing. And I remember saying, I can't remember if it was in our personal chat or if it was on the server itself, how, you know, something this good is like a double-edged sword. You can't wait till next week to get the next part, but knowing that it's weekly also means it's going to end sooner rather than later. You know, you just want the story to go on and on and on.
Well, that brings me to an interesting question. Would we want this to be a year-long monthly story?
I mean, if this was a monthly book, it would be a year-long story.
But do we... Because I think that Tamaki is taking advantage of the fact that it's weekly, because this is a very set-up issue, and I feel like if it were yearly, she would feel the pressure to have more happen in it. But since it's weekly, she has more time to be set up and do flashbacks and just really dig into Huntress's, you know, character.
I think in the end it's an issue number limit, isn't it? Like, yes, I understand about getting the story going because it's monthly, but she's still limited to a certain number of issues.
Well, but look, if you look at how she did, you know, her Fear State stuff, like those were much bigger. She escalated the threats much more quickly. Whereas this one, it's more gathering dread.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I feel like she was, when she was writing monthly, she definitely had more of a sense of ramping each issue up to a higher emotional stage. Whereas this is just, I don't know. I got my teeth cut at the Batman universe on Batman and Robin Eternal, and I was really into Batman Eternal too. So I have a sense that monthly comics just have a really different rhythm than weekly comics. And sort of a bi-monthly comic, twice a month, also has a different rhythm. It's a lot closer to a weekly comic than it is to a monthly comic.
My thoughts are clearer in my review.
Oh, right. So, last question for the main story. We're starting to see the theme of greed. Dr. Ware is motivated by greed. We're also starting to see, you know, the theme of recovery or searching for recovery with Huntress. And of course, we've got Nakano's wife who is hoping to find Nakano's hoping to find recovery for her. We don't actually know if Nakano's wife wants to recover. She seems to be kind of really depressed. Do you think there's any real progression of those themes in this issue?
Maybe not so much in this issue. I think we get the impression, I get 1049 and 1050 kind of blurred, but
that's the other thing about weekly comics. They do zoom together.
They do. But I mean, it does seem like Helena is here for a reason, and she's willing to admit that she needs help. So definitely yes. The Nakano wife thing, absolutely not. She's not even mentioned. And Nakano is obviously just mentioned as a check signer. So not so much on their end, which is the part of the story I was kind of looking forward to. But it does seem to be a thread of the story is that there are people who want to be helped. Maybe not the criminally insane. They enjoy being evil. Hashtag no way home. But but it does seem to be a part of the story. I don't know. I'd say if it's a big part of the story. Obviously, Helena being there is part of the plot, but I don't know if her journey is part of the plot or a large part of the plot. Anyway,
I guess I don't consider the Nakano angle that important at this point. I know at some point it will, but we've had very little of it, even during the first three chapters, the first three parts. But the story is just, it's, I want to use the word wild with everything that's going on, and it makes me question a couple of things that I'll probably do after we review 1050. But I mean, Ian kind of mentioned it, not just this episode, but in previous episodes, what Tamaki is doing with Helena's story has just been a work of art. It's so good.
All right, so let's get to our backup, which is chapter 3, of course, of the House of Gotham, writer Matthew Rosenberg and artist Fernando Blanco. At the Martha Wayne Home for Boys, a young boy is being bullied by another. When he doesn't react, he is attacked and punched. The assailant is stopped by a young Dr. Jonathan Crane, who sends the bully, Elliot, inside, punishing him with toilet scrubbing duty. Crane talks to the boy as to why he always seems to be in a fight. The boy responds that it's the others who tease him for getting special treatment from Bruce Wayne, as if he were his father. He tells Dr. Crane that he doesn't want Bruce Wayne to be his father. He wants his own father back. Crane tells him that he needs to dream of something else. That night, the boy is awakened from a dream by a mysterious, scary figure, the Scarecrow. This frightens the child until Scarecrow reveals himself to be Jonathan Crane. He tells the boy not to be frightened. He is working. His background is studying fear in order to learn how people can overcome them. The boy tells Crane that he fears the Batman and the Joker. Crane responds that one day he will turn those fears into strengths. It's a new day, and the boy finds himself once again being bullied, this time by Victor. Unlike before, he attacks Victor before being broke up by watching administrators. As they take the boy inside, Dr. Crane tends to Victor, telling him that he should be upset at Bruce Wayne for spoiling the boy so much. That night, the boy wakes up again. This time, he finds himself alone. No one is there but him. He finds the kids being led into a van by the Scarecrow, preaching to them about turning their fears into strengths. Tonight, they will destroy one of those fears. Tonight, they kill Bruce Wayne.
Wait. I'm going to have to petition that you read my summaries from now on. You rock, dude.
Aw, thanks. It helps when I have such good material to work with.
it also helps when you're not dying.
Yes, I feel much better. The show must go on, though.
And ironically, y'all, so Theo was the healthy one for the last couple of episodes as Steph and Ian went through their near-death incident with COVID and strep and everything else. Well, this past weekend was Theo's turn. And
No, Theo, you must not get all the sicknesses.
The fever was real, y'all.
Man, I hate those things.
I'm glad you're feeling better.
I'm happy I'm feeling better, too, because being sick sucks.
Yeah, it does. All right, so just a couple questions, because, we get such little dribs of this story. Do you see any threads that you think are going to tie this to Shadows of the Bat? Because I think we all agree that the reason they're doing this story parallel to Shadows of the Bat is because it's going to feed into that story. Do we agree on that?
I think so.
So do I. At some point, it's gonna get there, and it's gonna get there with the reveal of whoever the boy is.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
we still feel that. Well, I will say, as of this issue, we still feel that it's Roy Dodd. But for some reason, I had a thought that came into my head the other day while doing my review for 1050 that made me start Googling and visiting fandom to see if it was some type of possibility. But right now, I'm still on the Roy Dodd train. But yeah, it's at some point it's going to connect, and I think the first connection that's going to be made is going to be when they reveal who the boy is.
Yeah.
I've gone from in the boy lowercase b to the boy uppercase b. That'll be its villain.
Though Roy really hasn't been, or Nero, whatever, hasn't been part of the story since the very beginning. So that is a little odd that they're weaving the story into it, or trying to, and he's not really part of the plot so far. But
Or maybe he is, and we just don't know it.
that's true. It's all under the surface.
And if you notice, in each part they've kind of focused on an individual character. Like this one, with the backstory of Siphon, who I'm pretty sure is a new character as well. So I think at some point between part 6, because I've read part 5 already, but between part 6 and 12, we'll get more of the Dodd story. I mean, we're gonna have to, because we know he's gonna be the one throwing air through the window to the ground below. So at some point, we got to get the story of what caused him to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's give Detective Comics 1049 a rating out of 5 party people masks, because that gang just keeps popping up.
Oh gosh, guys. 3.75. I maybe 4. I'll say 4. These are just so good.
They
and
are.
also, Nightwing is hot, so 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I gave it a 4 on the website, and I will stick with that, just so Ian can have his mode.
I'm going to give this a 3.5. I think it's very good. Sorry. So that gives us an average score of 3.85 and a mode of 4. Yes!
Whether you are a first-time TBU Comics podcast listener, a 13-year veteran, or anything in between, we'd love to hear what you think about this episode or any of the comics we discussed. Send emails to tbu@thebatmanuniverse.net. Join our Discord server linked at thebatmanuniverse.net. Send us a tweet at TBU_comics. Or, if you're a patron, leave us a comment on our Patreon page. We'd also love it if you left us a review on iTunes. We'd love to read your comments on the next episode of the Batman Universe Comics Podcast. Batman may claim he works alone, but we know that he needs the Bat Family. Join the TBU Bat Family and let us know what you think.
Detective Comics number 1050, Story 1, The Tower, Part 4, written by Mariko Tamaki, with art by Yvonne Reese. Our story begins during the time of No Man's Land. Huntress is surrounded by the Joker, Harley Quinn, and other goons. She puts up a good fight, but before finding herself with a gun held to her head by the Joker. Before he can take the kill shot, Batman and Nightwing arrive for the save. After they dispatch the clowns, Nightwing picks up the exhausted Huntress and follows Batman to safety. It's the present, and we find ourselves in the underground HQ of the Bat Family at the same time of the events of last issue. Nightwing is concerned about Kate's report on Helena's well-being. The fact that Huntress wasn't upset that Batwoman was there to rescue her doesn't sound like the Helena he knows at all. Moments later at the Arkham Tower, something is terribly wrong in Dr. Ocean's office. As this happens, we get back to the scene from last issue, where Anna Volshin attacks Mark, the party crasher. As Helena gets this tragic vision, the story cuts to just 1 month ago, as Huntress arrives to save a woman being attacked by someone apparently infected with a parasite. Nightwing arrives right as Huntress attacks the would-be attacker. She's tired of these visions and don't want to see him anymore. The man falls limp, and the two heroes realize that he's dead. Frantic and terrified, Huntress wonders why the parasites haven't died with the death of the man who created them. She takes her leave of the building, leaving Nightwing alone in bewilderment and concern. Helena's awakened at the sight of Dr. Ware at her bedside. She had a terrible nightmare, and he has some medicine to help her sleep better. As he closes the door to her room, he looks at the mess on the floor. Blood. It's early morning of day 15, and Tobias Ware is in the office of Dr. Ocean, decrying his inability to control the tower patient. His mistake cost him everything, especially the money that they're trying to get from Gotham City. Ware already has to worry about the dead party crasher whose body he had to dispose of. He didn't need anything else to go wrong. Ocean tells his partner he has everything under control. Later that day, there's a new employee at the tower. Dan Smith is a facility worker, but he's also Nightwing. As he begins his shift, he overhears two party crashers talking about the whereabouts of Mark, who hasn't checked in. One of the two is his brother, and none of this feels like something his brother would do. They will continue to call for him, but they need to pick up the product their boss sent them for. As Dick watches the two men leave, he thinks back to a few weeks ago. Helena is leaving, and she asks Dick to keep an eye on things, particularly feeding Doug the cat. Dick attempts to talk to some sense into his friend, but it doesn't work. Helena tells him goodbye and leaves in a cab. Dick finds himself standing in front of Helena's room. Mr. Freeze startles him, telling him that Helena and Anna Volshin are sleeping. We're all fine. Later that day, Tobias Ware is on the phone with the mayor's office. The colonel reiterates that no funding will be released until his office received a report from Dr. Meridian. Ware ends the call as he finds a gun to his head. It's Pierre, Mark's brother. Mark is supposed to be at the tower, but isn't. He wants to know where he is. Now. But he hears a voice. Stop. You feel happy. You're going to leave happy and calm. Pierre turns and leaves. Ware thanks Roger Hayden, a.k.a. Psycho Pirate.
If there was ever an appropriate time for the dun dun dun,
Dun, dun, dun.
it's that. That was amazing. Like,
It was.
I knew Psycho Pirate was coming, but oh my goodness.
And the page, that panel of, I mean, he looks so. Usually you see Psycho Pirate and he's almost in a buffoon state of mind because, you know, there's always these issues with his head and keeping things straight. But this right here, he just looks so much in control. I mean,
He looks really menacing.
Yeah, it was just so good. So
So are
good.
we to assume that he's Dr. Ocean?
Well, it's Dr. Ocean's office, and
Yeah.
I mean, let's think about this. What can Psycho Pirate do?
Yep.
What I mean, we just saw him do it.
Yep.
He said, "You're happy." He controls people.
Yep. I mean, and I've been saying from part one, you know, I feel good. We are all fine.
It's the Tahiti thing from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's the
Yeah. How does Victor Freeze know that Helena and Anna Volshin are both fine? We're all fine. Come on.
because Psycho Pirate's telling them they're fine. It's exactly what he was doing for Bane in Tom King's run. He was making him not addicted to venom because he feels fine. This is so brilliant. Oh my
so good.
goodness. It's so brilliant. Oh, man.
That's why I say and continue to say, give Tamaki all of the Batman books.
No, the quality would go down.
No, just give her Batman and Tech. Call it.
I mean, if she's just doing the two at once, it wouldn't go down because she's obviously handling a weekly fine.
That's true.
Oh man, I don't really have many questions. Just so many things I'm excited. Like, okay, so we start with No Man's Land, one of the best Batman crossovers ever, and we have Nightwing and his relationship with Helena is back. Like, we knew it was back, but we see it now, and we see why Nightwing cares about Helena. We see that Helena is a hero that saves people in the face of true evil, like the Joker, and now she's really struggling because of the parasite, and she seems to have given up in the tower. Why is she given up? So that, like, seeing this Huntress, this is the Huntress I love. I am so pumped about this. And of course, Ivan Reis just draws her so beautifully. Like, everything in this issue is so beautiful. And then the reveal.
That one, that one panel where she wakes up. That one panel that he drew where she wakes up and her hands are at the side of her head. That is so beautiful. And again, this is someone who absolutely loves Dan Moore and how Dan Moore draws Helena. Oh, but that one page is just so beautiful.
This run of Detective Comics, this arc deserves to go down as one of the really good arcs of the last, I argue, decade. This is a decade good arc, I would say.
And we're only a third through it.
It could fall down at the end, but I don't think so.
I don't think it will either. I mean, the way she just goes full circle by tying things to No Man's Land, where it was really No Man's Land was another low point for Helena, because remember she began No Man's Land in the black bat suit before Bruce says, "No, you're not worthy of this." That was a low point for her, and again she comes back, and it's just the callback was just perfect, just perfectly used, and I absolutely love it. Now, again, I'm going to assume, since she's seeing Anna Volshin, that Anna has a parasite in her, or Helena's power is starting to grow. It's one or the other. But this story is just so good. But like I said, for me, it as the reviewer for this book, it's a double-edged sword with having to do a review every week. But oh my God, I so look forward to picking it up each and every time that it's uploaded for us. It is so good. So, do y'all think Anna has a parasite in her, or do you think Elena's power is expanding?
I got more the impression that it was expanding.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, but I mean, we know that Tamaki loves the parasite, so maybe.
Yeah. They did get out and were squiggling all over the place. It's possible she stepped on one or something.
For sure.
Yeah, this was such a good issue. I mean, if you don't have any real questions, I'll just gush along with
I want you to say what you think.
The history that they pull from, making that be a part of the characters again, just going through who Helena is, why Helena is, when Helena is, it's just so good. And then, yeah, again, just Dick's love for her and his bond with her is just really shows through. And also, Janitor Dick is really cute. I have to find at least one cute Dick panel in every issue. And
I am going to tell Bruce on you. I'm going to tell
it's okay.
Bruce that you're peeping out on him.
Oh, no.
Peeping out.
I like him as a couple. I like Dick as an individual.
But I am going to say they do a terrible job of disguising themselves.
I know. You know what I was just thinking is that right now Dick is the most famous guy in Bloodhaven because he's giving away billions of dollars. Everyone knows who he is and wants his money and wants to kill him. And here he is dressed up as a janitor. I thought that was funny.
I mean, for Kate, it's easy. I mean, no matter Batwoman or as Kate Kane, because she throws that wig on. But I wish Kate would let her hair grow. She looks so good with long hair. But that's
Agreed.
But yeah, I love this issue. It was
This was a really good 1050. Like, this had huge reveals. It felt weighty. It felt meaningful in both the history and the story itself.
So I asked this question in my review. Well, and it wasn't necessarily a question, but I wonder if it was possible to hold out the reveal any longer. Because again, we still got 8 issues to go. Do you think it possible that she could have held out a little bit longer before making the psychopirate reveal, or did the events? Actually, you could say the events necessitated it, but it just makes me wonder if she could have held it out just a little bit.
Maybe a little bit longer, but if the payout of the story is how it began, we've got a ways to go yet, and
we know that
stuff has to go down.
I mean, I personally think that at least half of this series, this arc, is going to be taking back the tower. Because we know that Psychopirate's going to lose control. Because everyone just goes nuts and they murder Dr. Where? Cut off his finger, use it to open something. Like, we know everything's going to hell. And so that's going to be
the end.
Right. So we know that it's going to be a huge battle, like sort of like the raid of the Bat family taking back the tower, you know? So I think that's going to be at least half of the issues. So we got to get to this pretty quickly. So I think this is a good placement. I wouldn't want them to hold it back much more. Because it's also really exciting.
Well, the worst thing about this issue for me is that this is Reese's last.
No.
Well, he's coming back after the thing is done, right? Because isn't he the?
I think he's coming back after Shadows is done.
Yeah, because I think he's solicited for the first issue in April.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's coming back. I didn't read the full solicitation, but I think he's back after Shadows is done. Now, granted, he's turning everything over to Max Raynor, which is
Max Raynor's good too.
Yeah, but he's not Yvonne Reese, and he's definitely not Dan Moore. But
we've been spoiled by
we have. It kind of makes you wonder. It kind of makes you wonder if they should have started with the B artist before getting to the A artist.
They never do that, though.
Well, of course not. But oh god, this story was so good, y'all. This is, like Ian said, this is something that's going to be remembered. If you're true to the character, you this is something that I know I'm gonna remember. It's so good.
All right, so let's get to our backup.
Do we have to? Can we just leave it right? Can we just leave it right here and give it a 5 and call it a day?
No, we have to get to the backup. It's our job that we're not getting paid for.
All right, story number 2, House of Gotham, Chapter 4, written by Matthew Rosenberg with art by Fernando Blanco. Inside of Wayne Manor, Scarecrow and his troop of mind-controlled kids are ransacking the home, looking for the whereabouts of its owners. Bruce Wayne isn't home, but Alfred implores for the intruders to leave. They attack instead. Alfred isn't alone, however. Robin joins in the fight and assists Alfred in taking down the combatant kids. The boy sees what Robin is doing and attacks him. Robin easily gets the upper hand, but Scarecrow attacks, demanding Robin leave the boy alone. Crane sprays the boy Wonder with fear toxin. As Robin succumbs to the toxin, Scarecrow and the boy make their escape. They don't make it far before Crane realizes that Batman is close. He doesn't want to get captured, but he also doesn't want the boy to be labeled a criminal. Crane sprays him with the fear toxin, with instructions on how things should be once he gets to Arkham. He leaves the boy for Batman to find, severely poisoned by the fear toxin.
So this feels kind of like a linking thing. It follows up on the cliffhanger from last issue's backup and kind of just progresses. It doesn't feel like we get anywhere in this particular installment. I guess I really just have one question. Which Robin do you think this is?
Well, I don't know my Robin costumology, well enough, but I didn't think any other Robin had the pantsless scaled underpants other than Dick, but it was pointed out to me that this kid's being a little ass, and so it could very well be Jason. I think those are our only two choices, though. This looks pretty early days.
Okay. What do you think, Theo?
Since I was the one that suggested that the kid was being an ass, I am most definitely on the boat that it's Jason Todd. Because I kind of made the comment. This was, his demeanor in this chapter of the story was one of the reasons why I paid good money to see him die in Death to the Family. He was so annoying in this chapter. Just that cocky, yeah, bam, bam, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Okay, no, I'm looking it up. Jason does have... No, that's Dick.
Jason does wear pixies, and he wears the booty shorts too.
Okay.
Wears it until he dies.
Okay, when Jason talked to you, the costume was the same. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, poor Dick. Jason.
So I want to do a little... We're not going to be covering the second backup, which is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. It is a fun little thing, and they include it because this is the 1050th issue, so it's like their anniversary thing they like to do. The reason I'm not covering it is because I think that it will be included in full as the first part of Batman Superman World's Finest #1. It feels like the first 10 issues of a page, not like a backup story. So I don't want to duplicate our conversation about that when that issue drops.
Because unlike the previous run of Batman Superman, if this first 10 pages is any indication of what we're getting, we're going to be covering this in Greater Gotham. Oh my goodness.
I mean, we always cover something to start with. We just...
I suppose.
Sometimes we drop it.
Oh, but Dan Mora is doing the art. It looks so good.
It does look beautiful.
I absolutely love the colors from Bonvillain. I mean,
yes.
it gives it that retro, old school days of comics look, so that you're in the past. But and again, going back to my review, yeah, if this isn't repeated in issue #1, there's going to be a lot of ticked off people trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with Superman.
Yeah, it does seem to have like really important plot information that isn't easily explainable. I mean, maybe they'll do an editor's box, but that seems weird for #1,
Yeah.
All right, so let's give Detective Comics 1050 a rating out of 5 huntresses, because she's my favorite.
4.5. I decided on this rating of 4.5 before the rating of 4 on the previous, which is how I came up with 4, is that it's just a little bit less good than this one. This one is very, 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 very good. 4.5.
I really wanted to give this a 4.5, but House of Gotham wasn't that great for me. It was okay, but it brought it down. So
I liked that one too.
I gave it a 4, but oh my god, the Tower. I really wish we could just get this book without the backups and just.
But they want to charge you an extra $1 for it, Theo.
Oh, I would pay all the extra dollars to see Dan Mora draw Robin. It was so pretty. Sorry.
This is a 4.5 for me. I am a sucker for Huntress. This is great Huntress. That reveal is pure comics craft. That's just awesome. Ivan Reis kills the art. This is the package. This is the whole package Bat book. It's great. So that gives us a average score of 4.33 and a mode of 4.5. Woohoo!
I'm going to say, moving forward, though, I will feel a whole lot better, a whole lot easier giving a book 4.5. Because for some reason, I when I do give 4.5, nobody agree with me.
Well, that's okay. If we were all the same, what would be the point of having a panel?
And speaking of things where we're not going to be the same, it's time for Greater Gotham. Again, our ratings are thumbs up, thumbs down, neutral, or abstain. Starting with Nightwing, number 88.
What was that one?
Wait,
This is what?
Greater Gotham is so easy to do now, guys. So whatever Theo does, Ian will do the opposite.
You are almost correct.
Nightwing was the puppy.
Nightwing?
Oh,
No.
it was
Nightwing
Teen Titans.
Yeah,
It
it's
was
the Titans show up to rescue him.
Thumbs up. That was cute. I liked it.
It was cute. It was good seeing Wally in the gang again, although we didn't see Roy. Oh, thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs down. Dick needs to take care of his own life.
What?
See?
Oh my gosh. That's he has friends. Oh my goodness.
Well, part of my thumbs down is because I've seen this plot twice before. This was done at the end of Gail Simone's Batgirl run, and it was pretty sucky there, so this is better than that, but it is a rehash of that. And it was done magnificently in the middle of Chris Yost's Red Robin run about Tim Drake, in which he gets the Titans to help him out. And that was Tim's plan. So the fact that Dick has no idea what's going on, I think Dick should take more control of his own life. And they killed off Gunhawk, who's one of my favorite villains.
It wasn't that Dick didn't know what was going on. Dick knew what was going on. I mean, he had Babs, just getting the Titans in was Babs' idea. Dick knew what was going on, and he, said, hey, I got this. But, Babs was like, yeah, no, you don't. Let me get your boys and have them come and help out. But to kind of go against your other comment, I mean, how often do we get plots rewritten and
all the time?
Retold?
I don't have to like it.
You just see Tom Taylor, and it's thumbs down by default.
I definitely am not a Tom Taylor fan. You are correct. All right.
Catwoman number 39.
Speaking of things that I'm also not a fan of.
Catwoman number 39. Thumbs up. Oh, snap.
Is going to abstain from Catwoman moving forward until he gets approval from Ian to read it again. Because I read parts of issue 39 and I was like, I can't do this. Nope. So since I couldn't finish the issue, it's an abstain.
My standards are so much lower than yours.
This is a massive thumbs down for me.
Aww.
And it's unfortunate that it's coming right after one of the thumbs uppiest runs of the last, 10 years. Like Ram V is up there with Genevieve Valentine and the pieces of Brubaker I've read. I love Genevieve Valentine's run. That's my high water mark for Catwoman runs. And I, in theory, should be in favor of this book because Teenie Howard is bringing back Aiko Hasegawa, the Yakuza leader from Valentine's run. And it's another crime run, and it's got sort of a lighthearted type of look at Catwoman, and those are all things that I like. But Catwoman has a narrative, and in the she's narrating the book. And when she's narrating, she's got like a really good sassy attitude. She seems really on top of things. But when she actually talks or acts in the book, she is an incompetent idiot. And I cannot accept that. So, this is why I'm giving it a massive thumbs down, because it's very disappointing to me.
That makes me want to pick it up again.
You want Catwoman to be incompetent?
I want to see how wrong or right you are.
You should check it out to see how wrong I am.
You should check it out to see the glitter cat.
There is a glitter cat. It's very strange.
And the ghost hunter mask ripoff.
I saw that. That
guy. No, he looks like someone else. Who was it that I thought he looked like? Is Valmont who looks like? Because he's got a handkerchief over his head. Who's the guy who's got a handkerchief over his head? Like Wesley from Princess Bride, only not black. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Robin's number 3. Now this is.
It surely looks like Ghostmaker on that variant cover they got coming out. What issue is that?
That's the April issue, so it'll be like 43, 42.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so Robin's number 3. This is the Tim Seeley miniseries, not the Josh Williamson ongoing.
Oh, it was almost a thumbs down, and then I got to the last page, and I was like, oh, thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me as well. I love hearing Steph explanations on things.
Thumbs up. It was great. People should check this miniseries out. Batman the Night #1. Chip Zdarsky starts his basically Batman Begins story.
It was good. It wasn't horribly original. I didn't think if I have to see Hugo Strange in one more book, I'm gonna throw the puppy out the window or something. But
Well, he's dead, so
yeah,
theoretically we shouldn't be.
I suppose. Thumbs up. It was very good, but yeah, it's very slow. It's a slow burn.
It's a neutral for me. It was a little bit too slow. It wasn't bad, but that slow burn was.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow burn. I'm torn. I don't know if I want to read this in trade or if I want to follow it, because it is well done, and I do love Carmine Di Giandomenico's art, but it's super slow. Like, not very. There's a structure to this issue. I'm not saying it doesn't have a structure, like a beginning, middle, end, but it's a very low stakes beginning, middle, end. We don't really get to care about any of the characters in it yet. I've been reading Zdarsky's Daredevil. I know he can do a great job with the kind of street level, like mysterious, action-y type thing. So I know he can do a great job. So it's a thumbs up for me, but like it's not a super enthusiastic. It's like a thumbs up for potential, you know? It's definitely not bad. Definitely not bad.
And see, I think that's part of the reason why I gave it a neutral, because I was excited seeing Zdarsky on a Batman book, considering the stories he did in Black and White, as well as the story in Urban Legend. So I had high hopes, and this just, again, like we've all said, it just starts out slow. I mean, I don't know. It again, is the story isn't bad, but it's almost Bendis-esque with how slow it's starting.
All right. Batman versus Big B #5. Almost done with this miniseries.
Neutral.
Abstain.
Thumbs up.
Really?
Well, it's got Steph as Robin. What do you think I'm going to say?
Oh my gosh, your standards.
Also, I really like Fables, so I like the whole writing style. And
I know this issue though was kind of, I don't know.
I mean,
I did like it when Batman asked Big B to help him with his boots because he couldn't put them on. But he's like, "I'm gonna go fight crime. Can you help me with my boots?"
I just like the way he writes the characters. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't bad.
The Batman Catwoman special. Really big fat guy celebrating the life of the sadly passed away Jean-Paul Leon.
Thumbs up, but I would not classify this as a Batman Catwoman special. This is more like an accompaniment to the Batman Annual #2.
Yes, absolutely. This is basically the other half of Batman Annual #2.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a thumbs up for me, but as I mentioned in our chat, or maybe I did it on the server. I was not.
I think it was the server.
Yeah, I was not crazy in how Selena died. I mean, it was.
No!
Huh?
Oh my gosh! What the hell? She just what?
I
was just like, what?
Why couldn't? I mean, it was very. And Ian made the point. He and I both made the point. It was 100% Selena, you know, but I just was not crazy with how she met her maker. I really wish that they would have allowed her to go peacefully like Abu did when he died. But
I was thinking she should have gone down in a blaze of glory or something.
Or even that would have been even more Selena-like. You know, to just go screw it and just go blasting in and die that way. But yeah, great response by Steph in saying that it wasn't a Batman Catwoman special. It should have just been a follow-up to Annual 2, which is still the last 5 book that I've ever read.
This is a massive thumbs up for me. I love the Annual, and I wish they'd called this Annual, but like I understand why they didn't, especially after Jean-Paul Leon died. But it fills the same function as an Annual. It's just beautiful. It's a really beautiful book. I had a lot of emotions when reading it. All right. Robin number 10. This is the ongoing by Josh Williamson.
Thumbs up. And I'm so glad it wasn't actually time travel. Oh my gosh, I was actually pretty relieved. I would have been okay with it, but I'm happy it's not.
And she got to see Buff Daddy Roz again.
I got to see young Roz and new old Roz. It's very exciting.
Whoa. Thumbs up for me too. Like I said, Williamson is doing really well on Robin. It's just he's not doing all that great on Batman, which is quite a disappointment.
This is such a thumbs up for me. This is a really good issue, really good series, and Batman is just like, where is this energy? Where is this love? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm just not feeling the love that I feel in Robin. Robin like makes me excited and happy when I read it. Batman's just like, oh, that happened. Okay. Oh, new villain looks exactly like black-colored Ghostmaker. Whatever. All right, we're going to move to Harley Quinn number 11.
Thumbs up? I think I went through it pretty quickly. Yeah, thumbs, maybe more of a neutral. I don't know. It's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's fine. It's just, I went on a bit of a... because the last issue was a completely different artist and I think a different writing team.
No, it's the same writing team.
Was it? Well, it was a totally different feel to the book. Like, that one was
because they haven't found a good villain artist. Like, Riley Rossmo needs someone who can do something similar.
The story had nothing to do with this. I don't know, but this was
right because the story was the Fear State follow-up.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's true.
And this is the start of the new arc.
Yep, and this is continuing her friendship with
Kevin.
Steve. Kevin, thank you.
I just think of the Penguin. Kevin. Theo, are you abstaining on this one, or did you read it?
What kind of question is that?
Okay. I just didn't want to step on your toe. This is thumbs up for me. I slept on the last issue, even though I've been like enjoying this title all the way through, because I was like, I just don't like Harley Ivy, but like Steph was right. The Harley Ivy in number 10 was exactly what I needed. I needed them to say Harley has been on a journey of redemption. Ivy has not. Ivy needs to go on that journey before they can have a relationship that isn't just another Joker-Harley relationship. It was good. This issue is also really good because it's basically a literal trolley problem, and Harley Quinn is...
Oh, yes, that is true.
It's so funny.
All her Kant puns were just lost on everybody. She had to explain them all. It was so great.
Oh, man. I really like this. Thumbs up for me.
Oh, it was funny.
Task Force Z, number 4.
I finally caught up. It turns out I was only one issue behind, and I actually like this one the least of the 4, but I think it's still a thumbs up.
Abstain.
Thumbs up. I have been really harsh on Rosenberg up to this point, and I stand by all of that. I think all the stuff he did has been underwhelming. And maybe this could be too, but this is exciting me. Like, all the stuff with Bloom and the Lazarus resin and Amanda Waller and Harvey Dent. Like, this is really cool.
So the issues have all ended on cliffhangers, except for this last one. And so it's been like, oh, what's going to happen next? And then it's kind of weirdly resolved within the next few pages. But I was really pissed off when I finished 3, because I was like, the only good thing to come out of Tomasi's run
on Detective Comics
was Two-Face's redemption. But then 4 kind of, you still are unsure, but 4 gave me hope that it wasn't completely for naught. Like,
well, he's certainly not being like, he's not being an unhinged crime lord. It feels much more like Harvey Two-Face is in control. He's not like, I like this. This is clever. It's exciting to me. This title surprisingly excites me. I don't know what it is. I don't like zombies, but it's cool.
Now I want to try vodka pizza.
All right, and we're going to end up with Superman and Robin special number 1, Pete Tomasi and Victor Bogdanovic.
So I'll be honest, y'all. This wasn't that great an issue. It was very meta. It was, why is John old? This sucks. And everyone in the issue saying, why is John old? This sucks. And then it was basically just a big old advertisement to read the early Superman John stuff. But I had a pretty crappy week, you guys. And when I read this, I just started sobbing, and I was like, I miss John so much, and this was so beautiful. So it gets a very, very biased and emotionally wrought thumbs up.
Just because it was a big you to the aging up of John and what's going on in the pages right now of Superman, it's a thumbs up for me. I will always be biased to Peter Tomasi, and not just for his work on Batman and Robin, but for what he did with Super Sons, and the fact that they wouldn't even title this book Super Sons is an insult. So again, screw you, DC. But yeah, thumbs up.
I think this is a thumbs up for me. I mean, as my co-hosts know, and probably anyone who's listened, I am not a Tomasi fan. I was not a Super Sons fan.
What?
I don't actually.
Wait, what?
I don't actually.
Dude, I used to. Oh, dude. Oh.
I already said it was a thumbs up. What do you want?
Oh, dude.
I don't care that John's aged up.
What?
I don't. If I didn't like Super Sons, where's the incentive for me to care?
I need all of the Reddit folks to at him, like really at him. I mean, even if you don't like Super Sons, okay. Even if you don't like Super Sons, Tomasi's story of John and the family growing up in the farm, before that Bendis guy took over, was absolutely wonderful. Just having Superman in that family environment that we will never get again because DC doesn't have the sense to de-age John. But
here's what I'll say about that. I really like that status quo. The Superman run itself was all right. But this is the Batman Universe podcast, not the Superman podcast. So at me on Twitter. It's in every podcast description. If you want to tell me about all my bad takes, that's what the Twitters are for. But I'd still give this a thumbs up, so I'm not hating on it like I'm hating on Nightwing. So
sorry to interrupt, Master Bruce. Ringing your phone now.
This needs my attention.
We do have one piece of listener feedback.
From Johnny McCloskey by email. Ian, hi, it's Johnny. Oh, maybe it's like, it's Johnny. A longtime listener to the show and fellow lover of Spoiler and Jorge Corona.
Yeah.
Lately, Theo has been really ripping Jorge, but I sort of get where he's coming from. I've been collecting Jorge's original art for a while, and I see how his style is a little more cartoony, but I still like it. With that said, the art on Batgirls does look a little different, so I reached out to Jorge's wife, and she explained what might be going on. Wow, what kind of relationship does he? That's weird.
If you are collecting original art, that means you have a fairly personal relationship with the artist.
Oh, okay. I think a lot of what we are seeing is part of the digital coloring and the software that they are using. The technique is called color holding, and they are able to create different effects and do work more quickly. Consequently, I think the published Batgirls line work is fairly thin and muddy. The originals don't look this way. I think it's just a product of the computer age in publishing. Sad face. I just wanted to somewhat come to Jorge Corona's defense. As a big fan of Jorge's art, I too have noticed that something seems off with his new book and was curious as to why. My best guess is the computer coloring software.
Well, thank you, which means we now have three different opinions represented. We have Theo, who has always disliked Corona's art. We have me, who likes Corona's art. And we have Johnny, who likes Corona's art, but doesn't like it for Batgirls. So, whole range of opinions. And I really appreciate the behind-the-scenes look on the color holding process, and I do think that it is affecting the book.
I can't see how the coloring will affect the line work that much. The coloring doesn't make Babs roll around in a wheelchair. cue Steph's sermon from last episode.
Rolling around in a wheelchair is good.
But for no reason. For no reason, it's not. Why does she even have the wheelchair? She just said her back hurts. Like, what the heck? They're in a... Anyway, sorry.
Her back hurts because the implant's acting up.
Yes, but why is it in their safe house? Anyway, whatever.
Because she went out and hit a bunch of dudes saving the dog. It's like a direct sequel to what happened to Nightwing.
Oh, gee. The coloring doesn't have Cass and Steph and Barbara looking like a bunch of twigs. That's no. I cannot accept that as a feasible argument. Coloring and inks only do so much. This is artwork. This is the penciling that just is not good. And I don't know if there's anything that will make me feel different. Now, if you want to get me in contact with Jorge Corona and have him try to explain what's going on, hey, I'm all for it. But no, this is no, it's not. You're gonna have. I don't want to get on a tangent because Batgirls wasn't covered this episode, but man, it's tough. It is, like I said, I will continue to support and buy this book. So Jorge and Conrad and Becky can, rest peacefully in knowing that I will contribute my part to making sure that the series goes on. But God, it is not good. It is not good. And I suggested on the server the idea of just having a special episode where everybody just comes from all these angles to try to convince me to like this book. And right now, I just don't see it happening. It is not good. I don't like where it is going at all.
Well, and the thing is, what you say you don't like the arms and the figures and stuff, I like, because it's part of Jorge's style. Like, I've liked it since We Are Robin. So I think it's totally legitimate of you to not like it, but and again, I like that part.
The art is just part of my dislike. It's the story.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we can get into characterization, but that wouldn't be addressing what Johnny was saying.
Yeah, it's just, but I just can't see the argument that it's coloring software that makes the art look the way that it does. Coloring.
I mean, I see what he's saying because I do see so the color hold, I think, means there's a block of color that they sort of plop down on the line work, and it can overlap the lines, making them thinner and sometimes even erasing the lines altogether. And I do see that happening in this book. I don't mind it, but I can definitely see if you're a fan of the thicker lines that Jorge's done in other books, how that would be something that you were disappointed in. But it's not going to change the actual shapes of the arms and the figures and the expressions and stuff. So if you're not a fan of that, the coloring is not going to make a difference. All right, so I want to get to our supporter wall. If you are a Patreon, which you can find on our website, you can support us at a certain level, and your name will be read on the Bat Fan Appreciation Wall every episode of our podcast. So that is a thank you to Lisa Slack, Ian Miller, Gerald Green, Joshua Laffenbertoni, Rob O, Tim Garassi, Stephanie Mounts, Donovan Morgan Grant, Stanton's Grave, Donald Townsend, Ed Grouse, Brendan Roberts, Captain America, Mary Garrett, Austin Davis, Johnny McCloskey, Cesar Diaz, and Jessica Morales. Thank you all. I have a great time recording this show with my buddies, and I always appreciate you guys supporting us so that we can keep all our back catalog on the air. With that, we come to the end of this episode, our second of the year, and I can't wait to get back to more Shadows of the Bat and more Gotham Academy backup next time. So, with that being said, I've been Ian.
This is Steph.
And this is Theo.
And this has been the Batman Universe Comic Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Hold on.
Gesundheit.
That was the cutest sneeze I've ever heard.
Thank you. Oh, I stepped on a slug this morning, y'all.
Oh, man. Why?
So gross. My husband finally took the AC unit out of our window, and we think they had been like congregating in there, and they got out and crawled all over my guest room, and I stepped on one this morning.
That's so gross.
Did you at least have a shoe on?
No, it was my bare foot. I was using the potty.
Oh.
I stepped on it. It was so gross.
With that being said, I've been Ian.
That was
this
Steph.
is. I'm sorry. I'm reading Dark Knights of Steel. I'm sorry.
I was
goodness.
I was about to pull my. That was Steph.
This is Steph. Sorry.
Oh my! So you reading Dark Knights? I really wish we could cover Dark Knights of Steel.
You want me to do another one of my I Hate Tom Taylor rants on the
Maybe
podcast?
just you and me should do it, Theo. Be like, Ian's negativity isn't here right now.
That's right. Because I would be super negative. I do not like that book at all.
You know, like Dark Knight is good. I really like it.
It's so good.
It's not for me at all.